Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. I know it's been a long time, but we finally have something new. We hope that everybody's staying safe and healthy and eating up some good food. But for this video, we're going to do something simple like a 30-minute meal. It's going to be seared salmon with stir-fried noodles. So here we go. Okay, so first I have Indian helping me with some of the prep. He is showing you guys how to julienne a pepper. We like the pepper to be julienne because it goes very well with noodles, since they're going to be long noodles, and as you can see, it's like a nice skinny formed pepper, and it's really easy to eat with the noodles. So got that. Then we have the bok choy. I love bok choy with my stir fry. And I'm going to keep the stem because it kind of reminds me of a water chestnut. It gives it a really nice texture, so I'm not going to throw that away. Also, the recipe is going to be under the description box, so if you want to try this recipe, feel free. Then we're going to have some ginger. Now, some people, they use a spoon to peel the skin, but I just use a peeler. It's much neater. The spoon does not work for me. I just can't. It does not work for me. So for the ginger, I'm going to do thin slices. And then as you can see, I julienne them. And we're going to do a really small dice. Ginger is very potent, so you want to be careful with the amount of ginger. But again, the directions that I have for you guys is going to tell you the amount of ginger to use. So we're going to put that aside, and I'm going to use the ginger for the sauce and for the stir fry. Then we got some green onions. We had to sharpen up the knife, so excuse us. And I'm just going to do a quick chop for that. You can use green onions for garnish, and you can put it in the stir fry as well. It gives it a really good flavor. It balances everything out. And I'm going to put that aside as well. So while we were prepping, I found some mushrooms that I didn't want to go to waste, and I didn't want them to get spoiled, and I love mushrooms. So we just threw those in there as well. You don't have to do it. Now for the sauce, you're just going to throw everything together. You got the soy sauce, and then you have brown sugar. Then you have fresh minced garlic, which I did not film. And then you've got the ginger. And then you have sesame oil, which I love. I'm going to use sesame oil in the sauce and in the stir fry. Then we have mirin. I believe I pronounced that right. I hope I did. If I didn't, Indian will correct me, but I just got hip to that stuff. It's really good. Then we're going to make a cornstarch slurry, which is going to thicken the sauce. And side note, so I forgot to warm up the sauce. You have to warm up the sauce to thicken, and then you add it to the stir fry, and I didn't do that, but it still thickened up for us. We fixed it later on. So you're going to combine all those ingredients, add the cornstarch slurry, and again, the cornstarch slurry thickens up the sauce. It's almost going to be like a glaze. So once that's done, now Indian is going to show us how to cut the salmon, and he's going to use a wild salmon.
Okay guys, so today I'm going to show you how to process salmon. And as you can see, what I'm doing with my salmon first is I'm going to pat it dry, and that's because I don't want it sliding around on my board. Okay, so pat your salmon dry both sides, and then that'll help your salmon from sliding all around on your board, causing an injury. Okay, what I do anytime I get a whole side of fish in is I inspect it. I just put my hands on it, see if I can feel for bones or anything. And as you can see, what I've identified right up top is just a little piece of gristle that's from behind the gill. So I'm going to cut that right off. And if you ever have that, just go ahead and cut it right off, because you don't want that in your dish. See, that's it right there. It's really nice and hard, and I don't want that. I'll save this for salmon croquettes though. Now what I'm going to do is this is wild salmon. So wild salmon is a little thinner, and I'll explain to you the difference between wild and farm in a second. But I'm gonna cut these into about 6-ounce pieces, okay? And you may think that this looks pretty big. And again, as I said, I'll explain to you why I'm cutting them this big. And then I'm going to score my skin. If you've watched our videos before, I taught you how to score salmon skin, okay? Now that my salmon is cut and my skin is scored, I'm going to then ground up some pepper medley. So I'm going to use a little bit of red pepper, green pepper, and black pepper. Thanks, Ma, for the pestle and mortar. So as you can see, I'm just grinding this right up. Now I'll talk about, while I'm doing this, I'm going to talk to you about wild versus farm salmon. We use wild salmon in our house because farm salmon has such a higher fat content that doesn't produce a great mouthfeel for me. Okay, wild salmon, they're in a tank. They don't really have very far to swim, so they get their food and they just go right up to the top and eat it. Whereas wild salmon, they have to work a little bit harder and swim upstream for their food sometimes. So you'll get less fat, but more of that meaty flavor. Okay, now I'm gonna pass it over to Tahira.
Now here comes the easy part, my favorite part, because it literally takes like 5 minutes. So you want to start off with a wok. If you don't have a wok, just use a pan. And you want to put some sesame oil in it, heat it up. Then you want to add your ginger, your garlic, really, really quick. And you want to be careful because it will burn with the quickness. So I added the mushrooms, some snow peas, the peppers, the bok choy. And once that goes down, once the bok choy goes down, then you can add the sauce. And again, you're supposed to warm up the sauce and thicken it up and then add it to the pan. Then I got my noodles, and I'm going to, I have the type of brand that we used under the video for you guys. If you want to know what kind of noodles we used, we have all the information for you. So once that's done, as you can see, that was super, super fast. Now Indian is going to sear the salmon for us, and that's it.
Okay, so now we're going to saute off this salmon. And again, I've shown how to do this before, but if you're new to our channel, let me show you again. I use a cast iron skillet, and you want to get that skillet nice and hot. Get that oil to where it's right at its smoke point, okay? And then you're going to put your salmon in skin side down. Remember, we scored that skin, so we want to get that salmon right in there. Now what we're going to do is we're also going to add once you get your salmon in, you're going to add just a little bit of butter. Okay, you put butter in the pan just to give it a nice silky flavor that comes right off in your salmon. Okay, and then what we do then is we just let that sit because we want that skin to get nice and crispy, because that's what's going to give the different texture in your salmon. Okay, so now remember, with protein will let you know when it's ready to come up. If you have to fight with your protein in the pan, whether that's salmon, chicken, hamburgers, if you have to fight with it in the pan, that's it telling you that it's not ready. So you just let that protein do what it does, what it's supposed to do, and it's going to cook. Okay, protein is attracted to heat. All right, so as you can see, I'm just going to give these guys just a little bit of nudge just to see if they're ready. You see that skin on the first one here? Let me flip over another one. And then that's how you get some nice crispy salmon skin. Okay, now I'm going to pat down on the presentation side. Okay, just to give me a nice little, so look at that. That's a nicely seared salmon. That's beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to flip these over, and then we're going to pass it over to Tahira, and she's going to show you how we're going to plate up.
Okay, now it's time to eat. Plate it up however you want, do whatever you want, but I highly suggest you put it in a bowl. You can garnish it with some green onions, garnish it with some sesame seeds, add a little bit more sauce on top of the salmon, and there you have it. You've got your seared salmon and your noodles and vegetables all stirred, fried up together. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. See you later. Peace.